So, today I want to talk about one of my relationships. I would consider it second most important, first being the Lord, but yeah, second most important relationship in my life. Yeah, so that's my mom, and I'm not really sure where I want to take the conversation or my thoughts on what I want to talk about today, but I guess I should give context. So my mom, single mom, right? How much can I say? Very, very short story. Yeah, I'll make it very short. I don't want to give too much details, but my dad, he's alive and he's good, and me and him have a good relationship. But he was never really around. Since the time of my conception, he was never really around. And so my mom had to, take on two roles, right? The role of a mother and the role of a father. And that's hard. It's very hard. To all the mothers out there that have taken on that responsibility, that double responsibility, nothing but admiration for you and respect. Now, having said that, so that's hard to balance, to do, and to imagine. And so why I wanted to talk about my mother is because I am trying. Like I said, the point of these videos is for me to express my thoughts so I can better understand them, formulate them, and allow me to be able to, look back on my thoughts and see my development of them, let's say. So, the relationship with my mother at this point in my life is I would say it's always to some extent been complicated. I mean, I think any relationship, I would argue most relationships at some phases in the relationship, it's complicated, right? Maybe not the whole relationship at all times, but nonetheless. And so the reason it's it's challenging. It's challenging. It's because, the way she grew up in her culture, which is in Honduras, not here in the United States of America, but in Honduras, in her culture, in her, the family's ideologies and all of that is very different than the culture I grew up in. Yes, I was definitely intertwined in the ideologies of the family, but I definitely spread out, to other ideologies, other perspectives, other ways of thinking and living, let's say. Okay. So, my headspace currently is very much filled with wanting to better myself, wanting to be the best person I can be. And one of the top reasons for that, there's a couple. Two of the main ones that I'm going to discuss and mention is, one, to provide for those that I love. For most of my life, I've always, I've had a very good head on my shoulder, God bless. And it's continuing to become a better head on a better shoulder, let's say. But I've always had a very good head on my shoulder, God bless. And so what I have found that I've often been for many is a person that can support in the sense of emotional support, physical support, because I'm very strong and well built, let's say, emotional support, physical support, mental support. I have the way I think is not just linear, let's say. You know, I really try to understand things more than more than meets the eye, let's say, right? So people often come to me for mental support, help them if they have an issue that they can't figure out mentally. They come to me, and I'm not a genius or whatever, or a psychologist. I study psychology, but I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I've always been able to do all of these things, be a source of support for those that I care and love. But one of the types of supports that I have never, I wouldn't say so much till this day, but still not to the extent that I'd like to be till this day, is financial support, right? I've never had a whole lot of money to where if somebody needed money, like it was like serious or whatever, it doesn't matter, and I would be able to just comfortably be like, I can support you in this manner, or whatever the case may be. I've never been able to do that. I have been to these days semi, but not to the extent that I'd like to be. And one of the things that I definitely want to do, and that I say all the time, is like, I want to be rich. I have no doubt that I'm going to be rich. Of course, unless God ordains that not be the case. Which, if that is what He ordains, so be it. That's what He ordains. But as long as I'm able to do, act, and say things that will allow me to move towards that goal of being rich, I am doing it, and will continue to do it. Yep. Like, my goal is, and I say this, I'm like, because I work a lot. I either work a lot, or I'm always studying and bettering myself to become the person that I need to become to be rich, and more. I don't just want to be rich, and I don't want to be rich for the sake of having money. Like, whatever. Money is not, do I want money? Yes, of course, because I don't want money to control my life. If you don't have money, if you're broke, money controls you. It tells you what you can and cannot do. And I don't want that. But I don't want to have money just so I can spend it on dumb things and spend it on myself. No. I am not that. I am not a material person at all. Do I like material? Sure. But is that like my priority and like what I need to have a fulfilling life? No, definitely not. So, but I want to be rich. And my goal is to have, until I will continue to focus my time and energy on working and bettering myself, until I can become the person that can make a minimum of $1 million a year net. That's my goal. And then once I hit that goal, I've said before, maybe at that point I'll slow down, but I'm thinking on it, probably not. But we'll see. God knows. I don't. So anyways, cool. I want to be rich. All right, that's one thing. And I want to be rich again, not really so for me, and I not just want to be rich, but I want to better myself for other reasons, right? I just want to be the best version of Josue that I can be. For the rest of my life, I will continue to work towards that goal, continuing to be the best version of myself that I can be. Because of, one, the people that I care and love today, but then two, the people that I care and love down the line. And what I mean by that is, one of the primary, aspects of that is a family. I don't know whatever the Lord ordains, but I do believe, and I hope, and I pray that there is someone out there that is meant to cross my path, that we are meant to cross paths, that will be my lifelong partner, that I will build a family with, build a future with, build potentially an empire with, right? Why not? And again, I do believe that is what's going to happen. If that isn't what the Lord ordains, so be it, but that is what I believe will happen. And so in my belief of that, and again, regardless of that happening or not, but in my desire and responsibility to be the best version of myself that I can be, the reason why I do the things that I do and I'm so focused on becoming better and all that is because I need to become the person that can be the best husband to my wife, the best father to my kids. And because again, the reason I started this video is because I want to talk about my mother, the best son to my mother. Okay, cool. So there's this person. Many people know who he is, but his name is Jordan Peterson, and to me, he's a very fascinating human. Very fascinating. I find it to be very intriguing, and I'll say that much about him. But he's very fascinating. And one of the things that he has said, I don't know the nuances of it, but I forget the proper term, but a mother who clings to their child, like holds that child tightly and doesn't let them go and doesn't let them face on the world, let's say, right? I forget the proper term of that type of mother, but that mother is without a doubt my mother. And again, I'm not trying to say that in a way of like she's bad or nothing. No, I'm just saying the reality of it, right? And also, I understand why it's that way. I'm her only child. I almost died when I was born. So that's a fun fact. So I can only imagine, me understanding the things that I understand about her past, and I really feel like I don't understand a whole lot comparatively because she doesn't really express those things outrightly, let's say. And so, but nonetheless, she is the way she is, as we all are the way we are due to our circumstances, our past, and our decisions on the actions we took from those circumstances, let's say. Okay. And so, again, I was saying how her culture and all that is different, and one of the things that's makes my relationship with my mother challenging is that she doesn't, and again, I'm not blaming her, I'm not pointing fingers, I'm not shaming her or anything like that. I'm just expressing it the way I've come to observe the reality of it as best as I can, right? That reality could be misinterpreted, but she doesn't understand my development, my choices, my decisions, my way of life. And part of that is also because you could argue that it was sudden, sure, because again, before I became an advisor, the person I was not the person I am at all. I was not nearly as far along in my maturity, my development, my mental capacity. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah. Anyways, and so, but I guess the point I'm getting at with all of that, and that's just context. That's foundation, whatever I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, which is that she makes it difficult for me to become the best version of myself in many ways. For example, again, she keeps challenging, and I don't mind this because again, I think it's appropriate for me, for the person I am. I think it's appropriate that she challenges the person I'm trying to become to some extent, right? Because like if there isn't a challenge, then how do I know that that I'm becoming that person, that I am more grounded in that person, let's say, right? And so but the way she does that is just, she does things that concern me. You know, like, one aspect, she challenges me, and like, you know, for example, when I started finding my faith through the words and teachings of Myron Golden, who I've mentioned before, she didn't like that. Well, what she didn't like was that I was studying him. I was very much studying him because I thought the way he speaks is very intriguing to me and makes sense to me, and I want to better understand it, so I'm going to study it, right? And I spent a lot of time in the beginning studying him because and because I felt it was helping me become a better person, so why not, right? If it's feel like it's good for me, why wouldn't I do something that I have found is helping me become better? That makes sense to me. And so, but she didn't like that. She kept challenging it. She kept saying it's not good to do that. You know, he might be a bad person, this and that. And again, sure. But you know, she says things that are, if you think about it, and she doesn't do this, if you think about it, are illogical. You know, like somebody can say a thing, whatever. Let's say, I'll use that example. Studying one person is bad. Okay, sure. You know, like if you hyper focus on one person and you try to become that person, like to the T, yeah, that's bad. But to then say, because she also said this, she was saying like, you know, it's better to just learn from your own experiences. And I don't think she specifically said to only learn from just your experiences, but you know, I'm pretty sure she may have implied that. Let's say that I'm like, well, you know, let's think about that, because I don't agree with that. Like, that's so time consuming. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes when in reality, if you learn from others and you learn from, you know, biographies and the mistakes of others, right? Because that's an important rule of life, is to learn from mistakes of others. If you do that intentionally, you're gonna be better off. You know, you can avoid mistakes, you can avoid the hassle. Nonetheless, you're gonna make mistakes and all that, right? But whatever. So anyways, so she makes that complicated. That's just one example of many. And then two, she challenges me in some ways that I consider to be good, but in other ways that I consider to be harmful, I would say. But what she also does, she definitely causes harm unto herself, and she doesn't fully she can't, I don't know if she can't or what it is, but she seems to not be able to understand that. And what I mean by that is, for example, like one of the big ones is her health. She has, I don't know all the specifics of how she treated her health in the far past, but you know, her health, she's not very great with her health. She doesn't treat her body the best. I mean, she's doing better now, but it's like she could be doing much better comparatively to what she has done, right? Because I mean, she's struggling. Her body is struggling. Her body is finally kicking in and being like, hey man, you know, this is what you get. And you know, if your body is like that and you care about yourself and you love yourself, you would do whatever you can, as best you can, to turn things around. And she does, you know, I'll give an example. No, I'm trying not to talk too much about her personal things because I just don't think that's appropriate. And plus, she'd come at me, not in a harmful way, but in a way that I'd rather avoid if I can. So I'll say this though. The reason I wanted to mainly talk about that, my mother, is because it's right now I'm faced with an interesting, I guess, balance, let's say, because I love my mother and I know I need to provide for her and support her and do all I can for her as her one and only child, given all that she has done for me. And I'm not going to go into all of that, but she has done She has gone through many challenges, many difficulties. For me specifically. Difficulties she could have avoided, difficulties she didn't have to do, that could have made her life a lot simpler, potentially. But she decided to take on those difficulties, take on those challenges for my better being. Okay? But the challenge is now, I'm realizing, I believe that I have a really good, comparatively to her at least, good understanding of how the conception of time works with the development of oneself. I am not the person right now that I need to be able to best support her. Now, again, emotionally, yeah, for sure. Mentally, 100%. Physically, duh. Yeah, I mean, yes. But financially, no. And not at all. Bare minimum. And that is the thing that, again, I don't want money to control me, control my decisions, control my life. Especially with my mother. I want to be able to, if she wants to stop working, she can stop working. If she needs something because it's detriment to her well-being, I want to make sure she can get that something, whatever it might be. And what she wants is for me to stay, you know, I have a very entrepreneurial mindset now. I desire to be an entrepreneur of sorts. What exact route I'm going to take, we'll see. I have anyways, that's a different conversation for a different day. But she doesn't understand that. She doesn't like that. She believes, again, her culture, her upbringing, she believes that a 9-to-5 steady job, you know, good pay, you know, benefits, all of that jazz is the way to go. And look, I'm not saying it's bad, not at all. But given the way that she has set up her financial foundation, the way that my financial foundation is right now, and again, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, I want to provide for them as well with the right proper financial foundation, even inheritance, do all of these things that are that involve finances and money and wealth. I cannot do those things with a 9-to-5, a steady regular job, and I don't desire that. I do not, and that's not a bad thing. You know, and a lot of religious people think that money is the root of all evil. I get it. In the Bible it says the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not every single solitary evil. And I'm not going to get into why that to be the case. If you want to believe that, run it up, believe it, whatever. And that's a different conversation, different day. But like, the root of all evil is interpreted as all being all kinds, all types, all manner of evil. So if you love money, you will do all kinds, all types, all manner of evil. You will sell drugs to kids. You will sex traffic. You know, like evil. You will do all kinds of evil for money. I mean, never mind. I just had a thought. Different conversation, different day. She doesn't get that. She doesn't like it. It concerns her, and I think her concern is that I will become a person that will love money and use people. But Lord, help me to make sure that that never happens. And but two, to always love the people and use the money to love the people. That's my goal, like as I mentioned in the beginning. So it's complicated because, you know, she tries her best to have control of me and to mold me in a way that she thinks is best, and I fully believe she's wrong. And not in every single way. There are many ways in which she is right in her belief of this is best for you. So, you know, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But when it comes to things like finances, when it comes to things like choices with health, when it comes to definitely when it comes to things like, you know, many things she is incorrect, and she doesn't like that, and she tries to fight it, and she doesn't allow there to be communication, because she feels like whenever she's wrong and I'm right, and then I try my best not to make it a hey, I'm right, you're wrong conversation. I try to make it more of a like, let's discuss why you believe what you believe, and I'll discuss why I believe, and we can see where we stand. I try to do that, but she doesn't allow it, because as soon as she feels like she is wrong or that I'm right and she's losing a conversation or a point or whatever, she makes up any excuse to just drop it there. Oh, I don't feel good, I'm sick, my head's hurting, I'm getting stressed about this, this isn't good for me, whatever it is. And it's like, that isn't good. What you're doing is bad. And so the challenge that I'm facing right now is primarily this. How long, and I think, the Lord knows the answer to this question, but I'm asking a question that I'm trying to figure out, that I may never figure out, but will just come to be when the Lord dictates it, and He'll give me the answer when the time is right. But what is best? Is it best for me, because I live with my mother, right? And there's many reasons for that. But is it best for me to continue to live with my mother and face these challenges and this constant, backlashing, I think that might be the right term, I don't know, towards my goals, right? Or stop living with my mother. Not, stop talking to her or nothing. No, never gonna happen. But just stop living with her, because living with her also, she really and she's becoming better at this, because the Lord has blessed me with the right patience and mindset and response to her attacks, I would say. Like, I'll give one example, again, I don't like to give, I think this is appropriate one to state, because if she sees this video and she sees this, I think it's appropriate. I bought her flowers randomly, because I saw flowers that were for sale, very cheap. They were nice flowers, and so I was like, yeah. So I bought them. Because I just thought of her. I was like, I'm gonna get these for my mama. Gave them to her. Cool. She liked them. Cool. Maybe the next day or two, she says to me, and again, she says things in a way that she's trying to poke the bear, right? Like, that's what she's doing. Why? It's like, who knows, right? I mean, I have my thoughts, but I'm not gonna get into that for sure. But she says something along the lines of, this isn't verbatim, something along the lines of, those flowers that you got me are so fragile, or something like that. It's like, those flowers that you got me, they're already dying, something like that, in that kind of attitude. It was like, the flowers that you got me, they're already dying. So she said that randomly, no context, no reason to bring that up per se. And so, you hear that, you give somebody flowers out of, a sincere, heartfelt desire to do something nice for the person. And then the next day or two, the person says to you, hey, those flowers that you got me, yeah, they're so, they're already dying. Again, she didn't call them ugly, but something like that. They're so they're dying already. The first thought I had in my mind, this was, I had a bunch of thoughts just quickly come in. The first thought I thought was why would you bring that up if you didn't want an argument? There's no, somebody saying something like that, all that's going to cause is an argument. What am I supposed to? So here's my response to her was, so she said that, there was a moment of silence, and I said, so what, do you want me to apologize? And that's how I said it. I was like, so what? Do you want me to apologize? As soon as I said that, she realized something. I don't know what she realized, but I could see it in her face. And she was like, no. She was just like, well, no, I just, just wanted to say that in case you're able to return them or something. And I was like, well, they're bought, then they're here, so. And then that was the end of it, right? But like most people, and again, old me would have been like, okay, well, what do you want me to do about it? Like, I'm sorry that I got you flowers, right? But no, I didn't do that because the Lord blessed me. But I said what I believe is the right thing to have said in that moment, because I think when I said that, she realized, wait a minute, I believe, I could be wrong here, but I believe that she realized that what she said, all that brought, in her saying that, all that would have brought, if I hadn't said what I said, all that would have brought was conflict. So like, why? Why would you say something that all it's going to do is bring conflict? Unless that's what you want, right? And she's, again, I think that's just a habitual thing of hers. And I believe through my way of being with her, I hope, I pray, that she is bettering herself on that front. And that's why, so my challenge is, again, like, I do believe currently that the best thing for me to do, and the thing that I believe God desires, that will please Him and serve her, right? Because that's what I believe my purpose of my life is, to please God and serve people, all the people that I come across. And one of the most important people, really the most important people besides the Lord, is my mama. So that's why I do believe that the best thing for me to do is to stay with her, because I believe that it is bettering her. But like, man, it's like, I wonder, either one, how far she'll push, and so she finally, becomes, let's say, enlightened, maybe is the right word, like me, I don't know. Or one of my concerns, again, whatever the Lord ordains, but one of my sincere concerns is that she will never, she'll never come to the realization of her need to become a better person, and not just for me, like whatever, like, I mean, yeah, that'd be nice, but like for herself, like her way of being, the way she does things and things, like I observe it and I think to myself, like, and she, again, like, she may not agree to this and she may not understand it, and I think most people have struggled with this, and I was one of those people. It's like, the way you are currently living life, doing things and stuff, it is not good for you. And you could argue against that, whatever, fine. You can say, no, it is, I'm very happy. Fine. If that's what you truly believe, cool. But you gotta really look and think about how your life is turning out, and really ask yourself, is this the best it can be? Really, is this the best that my life can be right now? And if not, which I would argue most people that would be the case, mine too. My life right now is not the best it can be. There's so much more it can be, and that's why I am working on becoming the best version of myself I can be. But so many people don't do that because they believe, oh no, this is good enough. It's like, all right, if that's what you feel. So my concern is that doesn't happen for her, and if that doesn't happen for her, what that's going to bring on to me, and how am I going to best manage the outcome of her maybe even going further down the let's say. And not bad in like, evil or anything like that, but just bad in health, bad in finance, bad in spirit, faith, whatever. So yeah. But again, tribulation is a part of our life, and I do believe that I am meant to face these struggles with my mother for a reason I don't yet know. But I will one day. But it's still, it's a concern. Primarily because I love her and I want the best for her. But I unfortunately cannot control people. Thankfully, nobody can do that, including anybody. Thank God. Only he can't. And so I cannot control people, and I cannot I just have to do the best that I can, act in a way and say things in a way that best allow her to become a better person, if at all possible, which I pray that it is. But again, whatever he ordains. And I'll finish with this. I often pray to the Lord. I don't like that people, whatever, to each their own, but God is not a genie. He is not just going to fulfill your every wish. That's not how that works. He is not a genie. So one of the prayers that I say is, Dear Lord, I pray that you help my mother become a better person, better understand her flaws, so that she may have the desire and the strength and the will to better herself for herself. But if that is not what you ordain for her, then I pray that you give me the strength, the wisdom, and the guidance to best navigate that relationship in a way that best pleases you and best serves her